What's the one with the library?
Oh, Biblio.
Yeah.
The staff is open. It opens at like 8:30 or something.
Oh, I meant Biblio. Yeah.
Oh.
It's open till 10. I went there.
So you went there first and then you had to
No, this is the only place I went, and I just waited till it opened.
Is there a big line?
No, I was the first one. So it just opened up.
You're
I
not
just I just had to wait like 5 minutes.
I need a sandwich. So hungry. I can't drink coffee. That's milk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
It's milk.
Funny. I'm like useless.
Good. You need milk?
Okay, so can everyone see the camera? Yeah, if they're sitting.
Yeah. We kind of have to stagger ourselves.
Yeah.
I think.
That's
Yeah. Mariah there. Yeah, totally. So Mariah, like if you lean forward a bit, that would be good. And then, okay. Yeah.
I really like watching.
So
Okay.
just try to.
Oh, the chips. Thanks.
There has been no double dipping.
Well, incoming.
Can we bring the meeting to order? I'm just gonna try not to be like super, yeah.
Do you want to just, no, I don't want to go there because I'll do it.
There's wisdom in coordination.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say, like, no matter who kind of does the leader thing today, I think it would be good to do an agenda, like, and I'd be happy to do that if, like,
I second that one.
or just so that we make sure that,
Yeah.
like, so that we can
Yeah.
discuss what we want to cover today and make sure that we get it
Yes.
covered.
I just noticed in your review of me, it was like, Becca said this, Becca said we should do this,
No.
Becca said we should, and I'm like, damn it, Becca, every time. So I'm gonna be,
But you're right, there is wisdom in coordination. I think, no, I don't think that's
It
necessary.
doesn't come across as controlling
No.
or
It's
autocratic. No,
Yeah.
it's
It's
good.
helpful. I was just pointing out the like distributed actions, like how you were leading with the skills that you have. Yeah, not at all.
And you know what, coordination, like being a coordinator and facilitator doesn't necessarily equate to leadership either. So that means that just because,
no, okay,
hear me out.
Okay.
Just because somebody's coordinating and facilitating doesn't mean everyone else isn't leading in their own way, right? This is a matter of organizing things, which is really, really, really helpful.
The agenda idea. Okay. Okay, agenda. Okay, so we like to start with the check-in, correct? Quick check.
2 minute max. Is that
Quick
okay?
check.
Is everybody on board?
I'll time it.
Okay,
I'll
then
just let it happen.
we had a number of things that we had talked about doing this
Yeah.
meeting. So we were going to, I think there is to be some maintenance that needs to happen based on, especially Becca, you wrote in your thing, didn't you, that we need to come back to this, like because Raina had mentioned something.
Yes.
So I think there are a few things.
That was mostly just Raina saying, I want to come, like, I think this is a bad time to talk about it with the technology.
Right.
Yes.
So I thought,
Okay.
because in the book it said, make sure that if it's not a good time, table it and come back to it when you're all in a good state to talk about it. So I figured we could talk about that if people want to, pretty easy.
So I'm good to talk about it if everybody else is. And I really want to know if everybody else actually feels okay. I think that's
Why don't we check in, tell our entry state, and then, because that's one of the terms, just say our entry state, say we're like, I'm feeling like this, then, or whatever. And then we'll go to Raina with that. Is that okay?
Like we'll do some maintenance.
Sure. And then we'll do
Okay. Well, so yeah, and then I think
yes, primary.
yeah. So let's just do not yeah. Okay. So we'll go to Raina and then check in maintenance. Skit. Amen.
Amen.
Quick notes.
And can I say one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
For this skit, I'm so sorry about this. We had all agreed, and I hope it's still okay. If it's not, we can talk about it. It's just to throw ourselves in that 10-minute throw-in with the rope, no planning, no whatever. 10 minutes, we've got a rope. We're just going to do whatever happens. That's what I understood we all agreed to. If that seems correct, then we all do it.
Yeah. I think we did agree to that. I don't know if it's necessary anymore because of the work we did yesterday. But if people disagree, yeah, then I'm totally open to it. As long as there's a time limit on it. So I think if we agreed to 10 minutes, I'd be okay with the 10 minutes.
We did discuss all bringing something and
To
trying to
build,
build.
yeah.
Yes.
I think was what the rope.
Yes,
Yes,
and everybody
okay.
brings something.
Okay, so
Just
that's what you mean.
10 minutes started, there's no plan, there's just 10 minutes of us working
An
together. activity. I see.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do that
If
10
anybody
minute
would agree.
activity, and we'll set a timer.
Absolutely.
Everybody say aye.
Sweet.
Or not.
Robert's rules.
Yeah, there's wisdom to those.
Okay,
Pardon?
Structure.
Robert's rules. They're just like motion to do this. Motion
Yeah.
I do those for opening, so.
I know, it's frustrating, but it's.
okay, and then, yeah, and then maybe we can, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just like, because then we'll probably discuss what happened in that 10 minutes, and that'll lead into our skit, like, as well as our discussion from yesterday, I think, gave us a lot of, like, and I got those notes back from her, that's a lot of information that we can use to start making a skit, so, and then we're good. One scene. Okay, so goal, one scene,
Hey.
one scene finished by end of week, or like, however that looks like.
It's appropriate to add that the thing I was working on this morning, as we all agreed, that doesn't matter, was I realized my piece of it was not a skit that us discussing and kind of coming together. So I typed a transcript of it. And I don't know if that's useful, but I thought that would this morning. And remember we were all talking about it, and you're like, oh, we can start with this scene, and then it just kind of was cool. It came together.
yes, right.
I wrote like this morning like a paragraph or something that seemed to summarize all of our ideas together. If you're interested, don't care if you're what happens, I don't care.
Oh, just like you kind of wrote out the brainstorming session we did last
Yes.
meeting, that's
Detailed
awesome.
transcript of who said, like Lyra was like, I've got it detailed. Lyra was like, oh, this part, and Nathan was this part, and
Right.
Mariah was like, oh, this, and it just
Right.
kind of came together.
Yeah.
And I didn't want us to forget that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I just threw out a couple ideas this morning. Anyways, I'll bring those back up. Yeah, we can have another
Sorry, just
kind of
wanted to forget
brainstorming session when we do, I think that's a great idea. Bring those back in and then go from there and add to it.
Absolutely.
Okay. I will check. Quick check. Check my entry state. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really task oriented this morning. But I'm also, I think it is good to make sure that we're all feeling good and welcome. So I definitely see the importance in that. So I hope, yeah, I'm just feeling maybe like anxious, excited, like hoping that we can achieve our goal today.
The other volunteers?
Are we going this way over here? I'm good. My friend this morning picked her up. I'm supposed to be at cheer practice, so I'm a little bit anxious that I'm not there, and they extended it for like 2 hours, which means they're actually doing something today. So I'm like feeling like I kind of want to be there, but like I'm excited because I think we'll make some progress today. So yeah, and I'm good. So I'm I'm stepping back today. I'm feeling like I've been a bit like really hands-on, which is like fine. It's not a bad thing, but I just think I want other people to feel free to jump in, and I don't want to be overpowering. So I'm just gonna step back a little bit and just kind of more observe and support and be less of a driver. Driver? He said rammer.
Yeah, Rami.
Driver. I'm just sitting back seat today. I'm gonna drive.
And tell us drives around.
Yeah.
Kelly said
Not
he was
doing that.
Rami yesterday.
Backseat all the way.
They're just joking about the word. On that note, I would like to share what my perception personally is of, you have of each person, but we can be quite critical of ourselves. It's good to have each other's perspective and value on their roles, right? Because we do kind of have some roles in function. I'm feeling very good. My brain feels focused, which is awesome. And it's rare.
Good vibe.
Yeah, part of that is being in a contemplative place this morning before even I got to school. So, and this is a very helpful supplement I've had somebody suggest that before, but I don't want to go that road. There's no shame in taking psychotropics if your brain needs it, but I'm trying to go with more natural routes. Which seem to be helping.
I'm feeling pretty good. I was like pretty scrambled and tired in the morning. I went for that walk to get food. I was waiting in the cold to kind of warm me up. And then I ate this and I'm feeling pretty good now.
Sweet. High five.
So I'll be productive. Right.
I'm feeling okay. I have no appetite, so I brought some insurance for myself so I don't pass out. I'm feeling sort of here. Not all here, but I'll get more focused as we start to chat more. But good.
I'm a little frantic. Yeah, I felt really overstimulated last night when I went home, and then sort of along the way it was wonderful and also overstimulating my personal life on top of everything. So I was like, whoa. And then, yeah, this morning was also a little frantic, just trying to just sort of help bring things together for even my own self. Yeah, I feel still a little frantic and shaky, but I'm really trying to. I really want to do the task. Like I am very focused on that this morning, and I'm trying hard to let go. Like just be like, okay, from what I've seen or what has happened, occurred, we've done the work for the most part. There's some maintenance, yes. Nothing happened in or outside it. I don't have an attachment. But I feel like the task is ready. Like it's ready to emerge. And I personally want to do my best just to let go and allow that. Because I too can be quite empowering. It's certainly how to take control of the conversation. Yeah, so I'm a little frantic. I'm trying to just like, okay. Fair enough. That's all I have to say. Okay. And no more cookies for
I've got some almonds. Do you want some protein?
Yes, I really need some protein.
Because that's going to help your brain more than that.
Yes. I usually bring like hard-boiled eggs and almonds, and that helps my mood. So you guys.
I also
Yeah.
have a hard-boiled egg.
Okay. Straight sugar is not good for the brain. Gotta complement
Do
it.
you know that? I'm
Sorry.
just frantic.
Just getting into a nursing thing
Oh,
now.
sorry, I'll take it.
You had some meat in your sandwich. You're good.
Oh, yeah. Do you want some almond milk?
No, I'm good.
I really don't want you to be hangry today. Oh,
No,
you just
that
grab
makes
one.
me, yeah.
Everyone's like, get those away. Okay, guys. So, let's do some maintenance. I don't really know how you facilitate that.
So yeah, I'm just gonna switch.
Can I just come back?
Yes.
So,
I know it's totally okay.
so
I don't know if I'm in the video. I'm
Okay,
you know what? Okay, here. Just so we can all see each other.
that's good. I guess
Should we do some skip first?
that's okay with me. I guess I want to ask Mariah, is that okay for me? Because we had talked about talking about this, and it's important for me to have a meaningful resolution. It doesn't have to be. I'm not here to interrupt, just checking. So I'm going to leave that in our hands to choose about that.
Yeah, we totally do. Whatever that works. Whatever you're feeling, that works. It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to you?
No.
Okay, so I'm okay now here. So you mentioned just.
I just know you were just saying you need to be calmer for this, so I just was suggesting. But
Good stuff.
if you're feeling like it would maybe it also might lower the
Right.
tension if it happened as well. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. I think I'd like to think.
Yeah.
Leave it for just right now.
Sure.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
She's so good.
So do we want to then try to do that? Do we want to just get up and you're already up? Let's do it.
Ready to
So
go.
let's just like, yeah, should we just each grab a thing and let's
Okay.
just do like a 10-minute one kind of throwing
There's a lot of
activity?
string, right?
I know we have tons of string.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've.
And this is supposed to be the rope, but it's not. My actual rope was buried under the sprinklers or the sprinklers, so it's actually hanging.
Oh.
So we can be free
Can I
to
write
play with
yarn?
it however.
I thought cheap won't be playing.
Maybe this one.
Yeah, and she's.
Why don't we just leave ourselves?
Or here, let's move up so that we can. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have tons of string?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I'm starting.
Oh, sure, Kate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting the time together.
We're just doing whatever. Remember?
Yeah, that's good. Go in. Oh, nice. She's wrapping herself.
Let go, let go.
Let go.
There you go.
Cut off her circulation.
No, I'm good.
What's happening here? We can make some kind of, maybe this could be like a shelter. Great.
This reminds me of, remember those huge,
Parachute.
yes!
Awesome.
You knew what I love, yes. And you had to all together go lift it up and then bring it under some.
You like this?
No, no.
It's a parachute, yeah.
And then wrap it around.
I know, I'm good.
We do have
I did it
scissors if
to
we need to
myself.
cut you out. I know, me too. This is hard for me too. Not hard for Raina. This is
No, thanks.
just checking things.
Rena's very right brain.
I just don't.
I just have to put an umbrella.
In the middle of our house.
This is bad luck.
It's bad luck.
So,
It's bad luck.
this looks like a web. Looks like a web.
It does look like a web.
They come
And it's
Oh, let's get
interconnectivity
let's
web.
get this working umbrella.
Ooh.
Dude, it's gonna be
Hey, that's meaningful. Baby. I think Becca looks confused.
I just have no idea what we're doing.
That's fine. You don't have to know.
Yeah, but
We're not able to do it.
No, speak. What's?
let's
talk
I'm
about
really,
it.
okay, as this is happening, I just do not feel this is helpful to our escape.
Okay.
Or process at
Are
all.
you finding any
I'm finding this
metaphor in
frustrating.
this?
I'm finding this really frustrating because I'm just watching this game like, what's going on?
Good. And Jane has.
And I thought that's how I was going to feel about it, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if anything's happening. That's
I don't think it is.
But for some reason, maybe I also have like an agenda like kids that are just want to have fun. And I feel like we've had very good fun together, and this just seems really cathartic.
Okay, this hand is like hanging up, guys. Just so you know, it doesn't. But I'm getting
Marina's totally cracking me up. She's laying down in the head.
I am socially low.
Okay, somebody else speak up.
Socially
Yes,
low.
Nathan, how are you feeling about it? It's getting
It's
short.
like,
Oh, we lost Becca. I'm feeling like we need purpose.
Okay,
I have no purpose right now, and I feel like
Yeah.
if we want to make a web, let's make a web.
Okay.
Let's get real and make a web.
Okay, whoa.
Like, so we have like
Becca's-
experts, so let's make
Becca's making a giant frustration web.
We totally are doing
They're releasing
Okay, so Mariah's
also a way of getting to
suggestion
know
was
each other.
to have some purpose.
Yes, to make that.
Make a bed.
Okay.
How do we feel about trying to make a real like
Yeah.
spider?
There we go.
You know what I watched last night? This portion of Lord of the Rings where Frodo goes through that thing and then
Oh,
tries to
yeah.
So it's funny that
freaks me right
Okay, so Lear said maybe we need to start over. Do we are no work that we got.
Are you okay with that?
We need a cool middle. I'm cool. We need like a cool middle with the. I'm cool. I can be in the middle.
Okay, wait, the boots on the floor by Mariah's feet. Oh, so like, what do you mean?
Like
Should we pass? You know what we should do is pass you around.
Okay.
Like, you're just circling straight around each. Yes, we are. You're right. But why?
We may have to discuss it.
I don't know. That's her maybe. Okay, feel confused. Okay,
A little frustrated.
okay. We have okay, one thing that we're doing right now, if we just focus on it, is we're just passing this blue ball of string around to make a web. Just passing it the way that the middle of a spider web is like.
Wait, is this supposed to be part of our skit, or is this our building exercise?
This is a building exercise, which maybe we'll use. If it's interesting, it could be part
I
of
was
it.
just failing to make the web.
Yes, it's true.
Sometimes practicing and cooperation, which it doesn't seem like it is. Well, but we are building something. It is something, it is not.
An impossible task.
But what are we doing? Nobody has
A web. Mariah had said a
But
web.
the problem I'm having is that we're all being like individual goals and we have no idea what we're doing, but we're gonna do it anyway. But right now I want a purpose of like, let's make a group goal or let's do something together so that we're not just like throwing a string around and not knowing what each other's doing. Okay, I'm
Okay.
why don't we use the things that are out here right now, like don't take out more and make a dress. Like an outfit.
Sure.
Make an outfit. That is a goal that we can all write down. Yeah,
Well, not really a designer.
Okay, so then you can actually remove it on your neck. Be like making it. You should be wearing a necklace that is
easier than a
dress.
web.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
See, it's like I can do this because it's like, okay, let's all do this together. I want to do that too. Oh dear.
Scissors will just chop, throw it in the garbage.
Like, we made her some pretend earrings with the That's a good idea.
You want to chop it?
Yeah.
Take your scissors by your feet. Here.
I feel like your sarcasm is also negative too. This is good.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine.
Yeah, play each other game.
Here, that's what.
That's what's working.
This is what women do when they have
like-
the bridal shower.
This is like make a page.
The world don't
Casual Friday night for me. Like when I sleep with my girlfriends.
You missed the good part, Chance.
So guys, excuse me, I just want to reiterate that whatever you do with your skit, remember that you want to show the different stages of the process. And so somebody that's in an audience watching the skit, they know nothing of it, so you kind of inform them. So that's summertime in that sense.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, it's lovely. Did you watch the Jimmy Kimmel action figure shop? I'm not hard to dress.
That's when I just cut that. Sorry. I was like, I can't get this.
Oh my gosh, Nathan, you're perfect. He's making a flower.
Oh, she needs some
Here's some orange here.
Accessorizing. Fashion police. It's like, I love it. It's a crazy day. Pretty girl.
So this is something we decided to do.
Yes.
Think of that. And it looks so good.
Oh, that's time.
Yeah, let's get a picture.
Yeah,
They're so
And you can have a flower to add so.
You want the dress size skirt?
I want to take a picture too.
Little like pieces of seaweed falling off you. Sorry, I'm kind of in your personal space.
Yeah, okay, I was get friends. Make yeah, do it all.
It's not too far from what
Yeah,
you see.
that's
To be
it.
honest.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
And they'd be like, well, that is that is just so.
It is.
Oh,
It
look
was
at that.
creative.
Yeah, that's all.
You're stuck.
Okay, now this is the fun part. Yeah, right. Just show it.
Okay.
It's actually like the better part. Yeah.
Okay, let's clean up.
Set her free. Liberation.
Oh, it's really funny. All right.
Okay, back to
She comes in. Does this have any structure? I don't know. She's like, well, just make sure you're doing forming normies. We're like, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, sure. We'll make sure.
Put it all in caps.
There's no rubbish bin in here. All right. Super hot.
We gotta take out the. Oh, that's a little.
Please.
Okay, back to work. Back to the table.
Back to work.
No, sorry, back to the table. That one, back to different kind of work.
Good.
Do we feel like we should discuss what just happened?
Hell yes.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Becca, you take it.
So, okay. Going into that, I thought to myself, I don't really think that this is going to be helpful because none of us know what we're supposed to be doing. So I kind of said, like Rita suggested, let's just put 10 minutes on, let's do it. And I said, okay, I don't feel this is going to be helpful. But then I was like, you know what? I'm part of a group and it's not about me. And so I was like, let's just do it. I'm just going to go with what everyone wants to do. So went and did it. And I felt frustrated, as you know, mostly because no one had any idea what we were supposed to be doing, so we were all doing different things. Like, some of us were sitting there, some of us were running around, some of us were moving things, some of us weren't. And that gave me no sense of cohesion, which made me feel like the exercise was just us fooling around, not doing anything cohesively. Then when we decided, okay, we need to do something, let's make a dress, I felt like, okay, that gives us something that we can all work on together. It's a goal, it's not just us standing around like with yarn all over us. I'm sorry that I feel this way. And I wish, I tried to have a good attitude about it, but I did feel very frustrated, as an honest opinion.
Good for you for saying it out loud. Yeah, good. It's okay to be frustrated.
Yeah, I did too at the beginning, but like it got better, so it was fine. Yeah, and then everyone did it hard. So
What made it frustrating and what made it get better for you?
lack of goal.
Okay. Group goal, yeah, and focus.
Well, yeah, like she said it in the thing, right? We had individual goals, like we all had a different idea of what it was going to look like, but it didn't necessarily line up, and that was frustrating to me.
Perhaps it's reflective of our process, of us being all like, we don't know what we're doing, so let's, like, I've got this idea, and then when we finally said, okay, no, we actually have to do something together, then maybe that was like, halfway through this class where it was like, okay, we actually have to do something operational and together.
Like I said during it, I found it really cathartic. I think, as I mentioned yesterday when we were doing that, I have found our meetings to be incredibly emotionally stressful. I've dreaded them. I just found I don't deal well with any kind of conflict or even just like off-color social, not off-color, like I don't mean rude, I don't mind that, but just like, off-putting social interactions really bother me. It just really upsets me. Part of it to watch it, to be around it. So I found our group meetings to be really stressful, exhausting. This was the first time I felt like this was the first time I enjoyed myself in a group meeting. So, but I also enjoyed that, like, it didn't bother me that you were frustrated, but like, in the sense that I liked kind of,
The chaos.
well, yeah, I think I did kind of like the chaos, but I liked that you felt free enough to say, to visually say, this isn't fun for me, and so I was able to say, Becca, something's up. Say it, and then when you were able to say it, it was a lot more fun when we started making the dress. So, yeah. But anyways, so I really enjoyed it, and I went into it thinking, like I said to you, I don't think it's necessary yet. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. For me, I just thought, I guess I did have a little bit in my head. I was like, I'm not gonna have a plan. I'm gonna let whatever happens happen. And just throw all the crap on the table, see what unfolds. And I realized halfway through, I sort of do have a plan because I'm wrapping everybody up in a circle. Like, okay. Yeah, I could see the frustration. I'm glad it was named, said out loud. I think that is poignant and rampant to have boundaries and emotions named out loud and food for.
May I ask you a reflective question about your process? So you said that you went into it without like having a plan, but then you realized later that you kind of had a plan. Do you feel that that's kind of like reflective of having like a hidden agenda, or?
Yeah, you could say that if you wanted to. Sure. Yeah, sure.
And what did you feel like
For
wrapping
myself.
us up?
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Hidden from myself until the moment.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't go in going, I'm gonna wrap everybody
No,
up.
no,
Right.
But
I went in and I was like, why am I wrapping?
and then at the time, okay.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, because you said, so sort of halfway through when you realized, oh, I'm wrapping everybody up. What did that kind of mean to you?
It meant that I actually did have an agenda that
Okay.
I wasn't aware of.
And that your agenda was to physically wrap us all up, or like, I mean,
no,
like,
no.
Metaphorically, what did it mean to you?
Metaphorically, I was trying to connect everyone in the group, to be all connected. So metaphorically, to unite the group. That was my underlying hidden agenda. Wow.
Yes, that's what I was.
And it doesn't have to be wrong of me to have that, I think.
Yeah.
It's okay for me to feel, okay, yeah, that's what it was. No.
Just to go off of that, I think it's good, again, coming back to something Kate said in one of the first meetings about sometimes like not being so careful with each other and therefore just allowing these sorts of things to happen. And so then we have, you know, we have stuff that's happened that we can use and observe and reflect on. So no, I also don't think that it's a bad thing.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm just gonna
No,
see
it's okay.
everybody doing it and I want to.
This might be a good thing. Yeah, I have no idea.
All the best.
I have no idea.
Wow.
That's really cool.
So Mira and Nathan also need to go.
And Kate.
And Kate, sorry.
Oh, I don't know what to say. Strange human interactions that don't make sense to me. I just stood there kind of observing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Mira's to make a flower.
I do like art.
I think we just kind of had fun. No really like any purpose to it. We just wanted to chill out and have like a couple minutes to just, you know, do whatever.
That's how you felt we were intending to what we're doing.
Yeah, we didn't really have like an actual meaning towards it until we actually decided there we should get into a dress.
Well, that's interesting to me because you're very task oriented. So it's funny that you kind of didn't mind that there was no purpose to it.
Well, I'm task oriented, but in the amount of time that we have, it's like it's almost unrealistic to have like something completed for our total scale or something.
Right.
So I mean, it's better that we like enjoy ourselves with something that can build some sort of purpose, and then we can see what, you know. Obviously, like there was so much creativity. Like we saw like people building.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say I forgot that you can take a coffee break and we really come back to class around 12.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Do
Give
we
us-
fall into 5 groups?
Okay.
It's 5, isn't it? I think I've lost one.
Somewhere else in the building.
Like we got a lot of content. I mean, for our skit, like if you look back at like what we did, there's a lot of us. Like Nathan was spending his time building a flower. You know, Raina was running around being a free spirit. Like it's stuff that we can incorporate into our skit.
And that's your perception of what
Yeah.
I was doing.
Yeah, like we can do. I mean, based on what we were doing in like a chaotic state where we just did whatever we wanted, pretty much. And, like, you know, we could like kind of use that as content. That's what I feel. To like kind of put our characters into perspective.
It's very reflective of you.
Yeah.
So I'm
You get
sitting
some
down
cake.
doing nothing.
I know, but then look at this. You just
Yeah. And some really good stuff to journal about. I know he doesn't, but you need to put something in your paper. That's true, right?
My paper's gonna be great.
No, I know. I'm not.
just watch this part of the video and just type
Yeah,
out
yeah,
A plus.
And remember what
Yeah.
you were thinking at that time. 'Cause this is, yeah.
Oh, I won't forget. It was
Oh,
pretty,
good.
It was pretty chaotic.
So Kate, it's your turn.
Yes, I agree with Lear. I think we all had such varied responses. So at the very least, it's really good for us individually to reflect on how like our interactions and our struggles with goals or confusion and whatnot. So I read this fantastic book called Play. And the author discusses the benefits of play and that it has no purpose. And there's a lot of components to it, right? But it's this is kind of aside, I suppose, but it does unite us, and if you can get into a place of playfulness, then it brings down your barriers. And it allows you to kind of interact with each other in a different way that you normally wouldn't, right? In a way that a child would. So that's how I looked at it. But looking at it as like a blank canvas, I'm doing something, I'm doing something in the sense of I'm interacting, free interaction with people that I don't know very well. This is going to be showing me more about myself and about my teammates, you know? So that's how I felt about it. I would really like to share some strengths that I feel that you guys all have sometime in this session today.
As
Okay,
a part of the
yeah.
agenda, to add that
Yeah.
to the agenda, share
Yeah.
everybody's strengths.
Maybe like we can save some time for maintenance at the end, or do people feel like that would be helpful now?
I think it'd be good now. Just
Yeah.
We're gonna do our skit and then we
Yeah,
can
that's
walk away
true.
possibly
I also-
with
Good
things.
point.
I also have like I would like to jump in with you and share.
Yes. Okay, yeah, let's do it now.
Well, maybe
Should we roll
Well,
a
no,
dice and see?
she's gonna share some. We're gonna fit this in. This.
oh, the strengths.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
right, right.
and then that'll.
Gotcha,
I think
Thank you.
right will help us with our skit.
I think so. I think
Or
it
we can
would.
put some money in play crabs.
Also,
Yeah.
So
how would-
fire?
How would you like to structure it? Would you like to focus on one person at a time? Would you like to
let's get into time limit as well. Sorry.
Oh, it's such a good idea. I get so distracted. I think so.
Even I love this.
I for one would like to go around, I think. But maybe we could just, each person, like, have, one person has a hot seat.
Right.
And then
And then
we
everyone
all
shares.
shares the
I like that.
strengths. We can do that verbally, or we can do it on paper, whatever people are comfortable with, right? It might be more honest and free if it's verbally, but it's, because it takes more time to rate
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Efficiency is important. So I would support it verbally, personally, and you. Again, just to use my.
Yeah.
Because
So
I'm
what
before
time is
6 a.m.
it? What time is it?
It is according to the.
Did we make that goal that we were gonna have
One
that in
scene.
our skit?
Yeah. Okay, so it's 10:47. We have until noon. Will we need another coffee break? No. Okay.
I might
So
need 3 minutes, but I might not,
Yes.
depending on how few things get.
okay, sounds good.
Maybe not, though.
No, and that's if it comes up, it comes up. So if we say, so our goal was to have one scene finished by the end of the meeting.
Yes.
How much time do you think we need to allot for that? Because then we can work backwards.
40 minutes. Minimum.
40 minutes?
That's my thought.
40 minutes.
40 minutes minimum because I
What were you thinking, more or less?
I mean, I don't think we can nail down one scene without nailing down the rest of it. So I think that if we had
Okay.
bare bones for a scene, it would probably take 20 minutes.
Okay, so maybe should we change our goal to having an outline of,
skip.
like a bare bone
We'll
of the
probably
whole
have
thing?
more time this after so
Yeah.
we'll probably have more time this afternoon. So
Okay,
I'm thinking that if we do this now, like she's saying, then we have time to do the
Okay.
actual scene.
okay, well, so why don't we leave, if we try to leave a half, plus we want to do a maintenance talk. So,
Which can also happen outside of this meeting, if that's okay with you.
okay. I don't know.
So,
Yeah, I don't know what to suggest.
Whatever's gonna be.
I think we just need to move forward with something.
Okay. So somebody,
Not sure what it is, but I think we sitting around wondering what we should do. I think we just need to go for something.
okay, so we're
I think
making
that's
decisions.
clear.
Yeah.
Yes, we made a decision.
That's what we're trying to do.
We're gonna do Kate's maintenance task, so we just gotta figure out the time we're gonna take to do that. My thought is 10 minutes and then we move forward. And the other part of it is, talking about this skit, which we did. Okay, we're hoping to, we want, our goal is one scene of the skit, correct? And Becca, you mentioned that we may be not able to do that unless we took up the whole skit, is that correct?
Yeah.
Which I agree with, actually. So my thought is 20 minutes for that one particular scene to nail it down, and then on top of it, at least 20 minutes to just have that bare bones outline on the table. How does everybody feel about that? That's 20 minutes and 10 minutes for everybody's agenda thus far.
I think that we need more time for
I
all
agree.
the work that we put into it about
I don't think
our
10, because if we're doing, say, like 2 minutes per person.
I don't think it's gonna take me that
So
long.
what does everybody think then?
So 15 minutes.
15 minutes. 2 minutes per person-ish
15 for what?
for
For
the.
the maintenance.
For the entire maintenance task.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
What time is it?
Um, 10.
10:15. Okay.
So we're gonna do a hot seat thing?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you're
No.
closest to me. Although Lear is first on my list.
Do Lear. Let's do Lear. Go. All the timing. 2
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Go.
So, it's just some things, I mean, I've also stated quite clearly that you seem to be more task orientated. Great, yes.
So I don't think it's sorry,
No.
can I clarify one thing? Is it a dialogue or is it just a communication? Maybe that's irrelevant. Never mind. It's fine. Actually, doesn't
Just some, yeah, just some,
You do you.
You go.
okay.
I just do
Just
it.
do whatever
Just
you're
I'm
gonna do.
sorry.
Okay, and just the benefit of, like, for me personally there, me being so relational, it's important for me to have you on my team. Somebody that is more, very, very much more at the opposite end of, you know, and the conversation that you bring about is often more, you said actually yesterday at lunch, concise and directive. That tends to be your communication style, which is valuable for sure, because then it can just kind of wrap it all up and let's get down to it, right? So I really value that for sure.
May I also add that I really appreciate your lightheartedness,
Yes.
and that just
Yes.
real, like, it's a real asset to this
Yeah.
group in having such a like a dense, like, kind of a stressful meeting, and then having your just sense of humor, your laughter. It's really just so necessary for our group, and I think your essential part of that is you. So
I'm
Yes. Absolutely.
anyway, I just think I love hearing your laugh and hearing that lightheartedness.
Thanks.
I'll
Oh my god, I feel so overwhelmed.
go. So
We don't love to.
I like so many things about it there. I'm so glad you're here. The humor and the lightness I really appreciate. At first I was like, but now I see how important it is, and I also see the incredible depth you have. Actually, when I watch the videos, I'm like, whoa, I missed that the first time. There is a lot of depth there, like a great deal of it being expressed, just not in a way that I'm used to hearing. So yeah, and I totally value the technical perspective that you have first
Yes.
invested in. Oh my God, all of you, thank you for teaching me so much and opening me to that world. And yes, it's about everyone, but clear. Yeah, you have so much to offer, and I'm so glad you're here with us.
And not everyone has to share too.
Yeah.
We should say that. Not everyone has to share.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, who doesn't share doesn't like Lear.
And,
I think
yeah.
This is
I think you're vulgar than shit.
Let's time move on.
I think it's
Poor
called
Mariah
it's called-
loses her mind.
You can go to Nathan maybe? Or
Hmm?
we're moving on now?
Yep.
Okay. I appreciate your calmness and like just the way you carry yourself. And when you do speak, we were saying that earlier today, that when you do speak, we all kind of come to attention, like, oh, we need to pay attention to this now, for sure. And it's very, very valuable. And we feel that you're, like, I'm saying okay, I should speak for myself, but value your perspective. And we did talk yesterday at lunch how you're perhaps more balanced between the task and the maintenance, so you can see kind of both sides. And is that kind of what you said yesterday?
I said this in the beginning of today, just being like, you're gonna be the one who comes in at the end of the day and just saves us with one sentence. Like I think like if you didn't speak the whole skit and you said the one line at the end that was like, why haven't we been doing this all along? Like I just feel like that is your role. Is just that like you observe everyone and you are very attentive, and then as when it's time, you're like, okay guys, this is what I've reflected on and processed, and this is what you need to hear. And then we're all like, that's exactly it. It's kind of like Shanti's little piece that we were like, oh god. So I see you as like this like shadowy wizard that comes in and just like saves the day at the
Oh
end.
my god, I could totally see
Right? You should be a shadowy
What
wizard.
did you say yesterday about picking up the pieces?
I'm a picking up the pieces kind of guy.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I see
Yeah.
myself as not holding, but I'm ready to
Yeah.
catch you guys just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
That is
feel that, you know?
yeah.
I feel that.
I think that's a really like understated and yet so important in our world and our society. We have people like that who are just like the silent
Strangers.
Yeah. So thanks, Joe.
Also, I really enjoy your sense of humor.
Yeah.
And
You
you were
can't-
just
yeah.
had me cracking up this morning, and it was super helping me relax. So
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
sorry, I forgot what to say.
I was going to say, you're just really well spoken. And every time you open your mouth, it's something that's positive and
Yeah.
enlightening to the group. It pushes us forward.
I'm kind of smitten with your presence. That's my thing. Your presence in the way it's just you're just here, you know? Like it feels like you're really here, you know? It's very soothing. And I like that word because I just learned it from Shed.
Interesting, right?
I was like, oh, let it be.
Thanks, guys. That's what I do.
I would have say that.
Good.
Go back to me.
Yeah, we've been going over on people, but I think it's important. So
Raina, when I first met you, I noticed right away your the use of the communication skills that you have, and it was right away. I think I mentioned that to you. Like it was a reminder, okay, like to listen, to clarify, those kinds of things, and I really value that. And to really be mindful of the mechanics of a good communication and really listening to others. So you're very strong in that, and I really appreciate that very much. Yeah, and very relational. Yes, more about the process, which is very beneficial to us. And your input can be definitely catalyzing at times and makes us take notice, you know. And we all need that and value the resource that you are.
That's really nice.
I think you're very thorough and it gives us a good, almost like I would say like rounding, because like a lot of times there'll be patches and then you're like there to fill the hole and you're there to say like, okay, I didn't really get that. Can we go back and make sure that's covered? So I really appreciate that when we miss something, you're right there to make sure we step in and cover that base or that hole. And I think just having that, it's your presence. It's like your, I can't think of another. It's filling. It's like your. It's filling. Sorry, I wish I
Takes up all
could.
the space in the room.
I wish I could explain it better, but it's like when there is something missing, you add to it, and you
Fulfilled.
not fulfill it, but it's like it's just a
When
it's
they're
it's a filling, soft presence. It's like when we miss something, you're there.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
And I was just gonna say that I feel like I was really inspired by you in the last meeting to like maybe get more involved in watching our process and like and I did that and like watched part of the video, and I don't think that I would have done that had I not kind of, if we had not had that conversation where you said, isn't everyone watching the video? And like, and so, but I just wanted to say like I was inspired by the fact, and I feel like it has made a huge difference for me in this class. Like I feel like the shift to me, like really enjoying this class and really getting a lot out of it has come from that. And so I really just want to say like thank you for your efforts, because it's inspired me to more effort. So
Yeah, I think you allow us to see where we've kind of, I keep coming back to this. You allow us to see where we've made errors in processing, and then you say like, we need to go back to this, and then we're like, oh, we totally missed that. So it's a different, you have a different perspective, and you bring it into that. Yeah, right. So it's a different perspective, and then you bring it in so that we're like, we totally missed that, and she brought it back to
Process game.
process game, something like that. So
Thanks, that's also really nice. I really appreciate all that.
I can't really I'm trying to put my feelings into words, but
Yeah, what you're seeing,
Yeah.
how it's an analogy.
Yeah.
Allison. I really appreciate your facilitation and your organization and your coordination, and you're very strong in that. And like you mentioned yesterday, to be able to take the whole and kind of explain it, which is very, very synthesized. Oh, yes, thank you. Very, very valuable, and your teaching skills, they're very evident, but very, very valuable. So very much appreciate that. And I don't know, my perspective is that you kind of have both the maintenance relational piece and the task planning. You can kind of be active and activated in both it needs to be, which makes you very capable and efficient. And what's that?
I was saying integrated.
Yeah.
It's a strong integration, but that's not.
Yeah.
I'd say like a soft, organized
Yeah.
state, because it's like you have that side that's like, okay, we've got to get this done, we've got to do this, but it's also this kindness about
Yes.
you, and this kind of like
Yeah.
softness, just like it really, you're friendly to everybody and you're kind, and you draw us all in, and as well as keep us on task. So I think it's like just this great kind of leadership in you that I recognize, that kind of like you can move us forward, but also in a way that's relationally oriented.
Absolutely.
And you look like a princess.
I could just go on that too. Just one more thing to add, yes, to all of that. Oh,
It's horribly.
60 minutes.
Oh, it was really weird. Oh yeah, the kindness. Like, that'd be it. The softness and the kindness in all of it. Like it's so integrated in you. Like it's, I feel like you embody that integration of relational and.
What's that other thing?
I think it's like an administrative Mother Teresa.
Yes,
Right?
Yeah, it's the softness I so envy.
The
it. It's
softness
not bland,
and
it's
the organized.
much.
Would make you a great
Really
Yeah. It would make you great in a lot of roles, I think.
Yeah.
Like as a teacher, as a just having that forwardness and that forward thinking and that just organization, but also that gentleness, like a teacher, really.
Voice, yes, I agree. It's so perfect, isn't it? It never makes you edgy. Yeah.
So I was like the other day, I was like, gee, that's what I'm teaching.
It's like really natural.
Yeah.
What grades do you teach?
I don't teach.
Oh, you don't teach?
I did teach ESL.
Yeah, so you told us this already.
She's like, don't Josh.
How about we go to
Okay,
Mariah?
Mariah.
Yeah. It's okay. So I remember our first meeting and you said that you wear your heart on your sleeve. Yeah, and I appreciate how you can be transparent in that. And I know if you put off, but I know when you're having a good time. And I know when you're accepting things, and I know when I can read that, and which is really nice and refreshing. I find you very refreshing. And that you're raw in the best way. Yeah, and like you get to the heart of things. And sometimes when others may not want to say, you'll say it. And there's value in that. Yeah. There's value.
I agree with the honesty and just that, like, we need to share this and get it out on the table, but also, yeah, refreshing, I think is a good word, just kind of that honesty and that you're very sensitive, but in a soft, like, in a, I can't say soft, but in a kind way, that, like, you're not harsh and you don't get angry with people, but you're, like, you're truthful, you're honest, and
which is not a bad thing.
No, I also really appreciate your, because I think when your willingness to speak out and just be like, no, that's, what? No, and like to really approach somebody and like challenge them, that is just like, I just want to say again how valuable like that is, and just like I hope that you feel proud of that and proud of yourself, and not, because, well, no, but just because I really think that is like a key to healthy relationships, and something that I'm, again, feeling like inspired me. I'm really glad that we're in the same group, and that we don't say like, anyways, I just feel so glad that I'm in a group with an energy like that, because it's something I really want to learn from too. So
It's a strength. You've got a very it's a strength. It's like you've got this like empowered woman in you. It's just like you're not afraid to tell it like it is, and you're not afraid to be honest. But like there's a kindness.
I have a long list of things I like about you that I actually wrote down, and I'm not sure I can articulate so well today. But everything that everyone said here, absolutely, I love how much you challenge me with your friends. You remind me that, well, they teach me a lot about myself. Oh my God, it's shocking. But it's good. I'm so thankful for your courage to speak out loud and say, that's all right. Like, awesome. That is powerful and inspiring. Yeah, happy to listen to yeah, I also like your presence in yeah, I like your presence in that it's really very solid. Not shakable.
Unshakable.
Unshakable, yeah, and that powerful one. It's so clear, like just for us to be there. It's excellent.
you're also
Yeah, the tables, oh, we're just undoing.
Oh, that's good.
I was being totally serious.
I know, I'm also being totally serious.
Becca.
I was supposed to be, you'll speak up if you need to, right? I trust you.
Fantastic. Everyone is here, of course, but I really, again, your strength in being coordinator and facilitator came out immediately in our first meeting, which I can see by your non-verbal responses to what I'm saying is that sometimes you're not sure if that's positive. But for my part, I've never felt that it's been overbearing. It's been inclusive and democratic, and very, very valuable, and allows for structure and allows everyone to share the piece. And you did that so wonderfully that first day. It's kind of burned in my mind how you said, okay, we haven't heard from this person, we haven't heard, and you were really mindful that you also have a nice balance of the task and the relational. You're quite relational. Yes, quite relational. I had said actually that you were so task oriented at first with the coordination, and that she's really quite sensitive to what's going on with other people. And very encouraging. Very much an encourager. You're very strong in that, you know, and you open up your heart, very open-hearted and light-hearted too, which is so valuable. So many skills and so many strengths, Becca. Probably got more to say, but at the same time. Yes.
Yeah, I was just drawn to you, and you were like talking to other people. We were standing there, and I was like, "Who's that girl?" I don't know. You're just like a good energy.
Yeah, totally. Like I just noticed when you came in this morning to the main room, you were like, "Good morning, everybody."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow!" Like she's like, you're super outgoing. As obviously you know, but like in like a way that's so inclusive. Yeah, I think, and I just think that's a really rare type of somebody who's really outgoing, has a social network, but because you want to include everyone. And I think, and I also really appreciate your creativity. And there was something I was thinking. I know, but like, I think it just had to do with like like a couple of times, I really appreciate your willingness to kind of, along kind of with what we were saying about Mariah, but like you are really willing to kind of like get into it. And I also really appreciate that about you, because I think it's a similar trait, but it's different in you. And even just today, like what happened with the task thing, like I really appreciated that. Like I loved watching it, I loved being a part of it, and like I just think you have really strong leadership skills, and like Kate was saying, in a democratic way, you like you have a lot of influence, and it's like it's not a driving thing. Like I know you were saying you wanted to take a back seat thing. I don't see you as a driver. Like that's the wrong metaphor. It's like people want to follow you. People are drawn to you because there's a positive energy, and I just think like anyway. So like
Well, like I say yes to all of that, and really envy all of your incredible articulation. I feel like that for sure. I'm really thankful you're here with your creativity. I love that you can just articulate sort of everybody's perspective. That I knew that was there from the beginning, and then in film just recently, I was like, holy crap, she's actually got everybody's situation in her head really clearly and can express it, which is something I value. But it really everything that they just articulated, also that. And then the list in my book that is much of it.
I think you're just pretty genuine. You're a genuine person. You really understand what people are, how people act or how people are looking at a certain situation, and you adapt really well. You control it, and you can also influence other people to follow maybe a better goal, or so leadership qualities overall.
You're very grounded. I was imagining us like a bunch of balloons and tie ourselves to you.
That's beautiful.
It's a trust exercise. Okay, can I talk about myself? That's the cool thing, is I don't have to be dependent on, but I can say what I've recognized in myself. I'm very, very relational,
Kate, can Mariah, sorry,
Yes.
you guys were.
Are you okay?
Just
Did I just open the window?
Yeah,
for
go
a
ahead.
couple minutes,
Yeah.
please? Sorry, thank you. Go on.
And I'm harmonious, and I whenever I feel like there's something that's, a controversy, it does bother me, and I want to get it resolved, because I can feel that it's unharmonious, and that's why I like these kinds of exercises, right? I want people to feel good all the time, and it's kind of an obsession, and it can sometimes be a bit of a time filler, or monopolize the time. So,
I gotta say, I think you and I are very similar, because I wanted to do this like from the get-go. I was like, I really need to tell each person what I value in them, and kind of uplift that in them, and bring that to the surface, so that we're all bringing our best selves, and we can, take what we're strong at and bring it to the center. So when you said that, I was like, yes, soul sister, you feel me. You feel me.
Oh yeah.
So like, I love that that side of you. I think didn't like it.
Mhm.
I really was.
Similar to like what I said to Raina, I also really appreciate the effort that you've put into this class. Like every time you come to a meeting, you're like full of thoughts and notes and just like it's so clear that you've put so much time and energy. You've made suggestions on Facebook that have also just been super engaging. And so again, I would just like thank you for like setting an example, but also giving opportunities for myself to like grab on and engage in the class and really, because I feel like because of some of the opportunities you gave, like your suggestion to watch part of the video, it changed the class for me. Yeah.
I think I see you as like a stage manager. Like you go back, you look at your notes, and you kind of process behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you say, okay, this is what I've thought about. I'd love to share it with you guys. And you're very communicative in that way, but also like a deep process.
Yes.
So valuable.
Mhm. Yeah, I process it. As an introvert, you have to work the camera process here.
But you're
A noisy room.
always me, and it's like when you speak, it's like
It's the
same.
same. Yeah, no, like just when you speak, everyone just like stops and like really. We know what you say. Yeah,
And then it's coming from a place of reflection.
yeah. It's not just kind of off the cuff.
Off the cuff, yeah.
Cool. Love, 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 love,
Love,
love.
love,
Let's
love,
cast.
Yay!
I'm excited. Now I got that out of my system. It's okay. That's my hidden agenda. I had to do that, otherwise I'm like, I can't move on. We need to
Talk about each other.
She's like, or one of my friends was like, oh, can we get wings still? She's like, I don't know, and like pushes on my phone and like looks at the time and I'm like, excuse me.
Rude.
It was her watch. Like, it was weird. And I just didn't notice. I was like,
Okay.
the waitress, she just like came up and was just like,
Can I just add? I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert, but most people think I'm Wow.
Yes, yeah, bring us back.
Bring us back.
Okay, so I know
We're
our
skit
goal
going.
is yes, and I'm on that, in that all right. But I wonder if it's okay with you guys, like I said this morning, I did a transcript for at least part of the point of our meeting last time, where it seemed to me we were actually creating our skit, where all of us had a voice, and it seemed like we were sharing a vision or trying to. So I wonder if it's okay with you if I shared that paragraph I wrote, which is the best that I could transcription of those moments. I didn't get it all finished because this morning. Sorry for swearing. I'm not going to swear anything else. I'm really not saying the deep takes everything else is okay. Is that okay for me?
Yeah, I think it's
Word, they can hear that right now.
Yeah.
You do
Good.
okay, so. Just bear with me one second. Because I did half of it one day and then half of it another day, and I don't know what's all important, but 2 seconds on.
I unconsciously made a heart. Let me know as you're told. I was just like,
Okay. I'm just gonna read it.
You got it?
Okay.
Yeah, we're ready.
I got it. I'm just gonna read it. So just
Go.
please, when you're ready, if you can just hold the space to hear it. This is intended to be all of your voices, so it may not be a perfect reflection of that, but I tried. Okay, so I'll turn this 120 video. Oof, my time starts in the heart of the skit, hashing out. It's on the heels of Becca's incredibly vivid and exciting description, followed by my wrote description. So that's the place that was right before my place, just so you know. The first point Becca wants to clarify, if I factor the verbal portion, I don't know if this is necessary, and side screen idea into my idea. I say yes, everything is comfortable. Lear, as I do initially, misunderstands what Becca is asking, and as a happy accident, serves to further the accommodation of the two ideas. Is everybody okay still to hear it? Yeah. Lear, you're good with it?
The ideas of the side stories.
The two ideas, I'll clear it.
Okay, yeah.
So again, I read that again. First point, Becca wants clarification of. Okay, so Lear misunderstands. Happy accidents of yes serves to further accommodate the two ideas. He describes how this could happen, and yes, it's the verbal, non-verbal, and the multimedia, essentially. He describes how this could happen with sidebars, verbal to non-verbal included. Mariah pulls the importance of multimedia perspective into the dialogue. Lear carries that forward with the description of ideas of computer tied to rope. Mariah non-verbally flashes the flashlight, which I brought, by the way, to illustrate. Everyone's laughing, that was awesome. The discussion moves to talking about how the pre-filmed portion will work logistically. Mariah suggests videos playing on a slide and someone having a clicker in his pocket. Return to concern of specific lines coordinating. Allison likes this by talking about the intention of totally moving along plot lines in a generally known direction. This got a little fuzzy. Some debate about levels of improv. Lear suggests jokes scripted in the video. Some suggests most everything is scripted. It starts to become clear that it's not exactly clear what would be in the slides, or there are some different ideas about this. There's talk of acting on the beach as a slide backdrop, talked of technical difficulty with noise, and attempt at clarification around this. I'm still not clear on what the beach scenes will look like. Question mark, question mark. Multimedia is awesome, please help me understand. There's clarification that the actual skit is live and the videos will serve as a backdrop. There's suggestion we all wake up on the beach in videos, and in-house skit has us hold the rope. Okay, and that's where it stopped, and I'm starting at 5 a.m. There's another paragraph, fat one. It's over. Attention is still with me, everyone. It's not nodding.
Thinking while
Yeah,
you're
wait,
doing that.
sorry. Alton clarifies, can't do full skit on film. Sorry, it's a bit of a repeat. Skit in the classroom. Lear clarifies, maybe filming South Beach. Same thing again. Mariah says we could almost do something on screen, like the whole skit could be about setting up her skit. This idea was quickly rejected from our perspective, that was my impression, as not being unique or creative enough. I actually find it to be an excellent idea worth further exploration. This is my sidebar talk. Allison says she actually likes the idea of communicating the audience challenges with setup and then the audience actually not sure if the plan part of skit or not. Laughing. As an example, yelling at Lear, you said this, have it set up. You have this set up, whatever. You know what you said. As part of the skit. Then Lear reminds us to stay on the time. Allison says this was technically my 5 minutes and has counted theirs. Time I'm sorry, it was verbatim.
Yeah.
As much as I could, there's some of my own perspective, which timer goes off. Becca masterfully figures out who still needs to speak. Lear takes his 5 minutes, says he likes this idea, wants to contribute and go forward with it. That's his opinion. That's what he says. Says all 3 points that we made and use of technology has really pushed us forward. It's very creative, and I think we should go forward with this idea. That's pretty great. Mariah says, I think we should move forward with the idea too. Mariah likes the rope. A lot of good points. Non-verbal with the rope could be really easy. Verbal and video included as well. Nathan, I only got half yours because I had to leave. Nathan says 20 minutes long, loves the ideas, also thinks can do multiples of them. Includes the idea of desert island. I have an aside. I kept saying desert when I was meaning beach because I don't know, I have a 4-year-old brain that fucks things up sometimes. Jesus.
Something you're not supposed to say. Sorry, it's good.
Okay. Becca's idea of characters exaggerated. You pointed this back out, which is cool. As example, task-oriented stormer to fit concept. I'm sorry, it's not making sense now. Becca's idea of characters exaggerated. Like as an example, task-oriented stormer to fit concept. Also, idea to fill time moving. Oh, I did more. From one disaster to the next. This gets a little fuzzy. This piece of it. You two are just staring at each other. I don't know what that means. That's okay.
They're not. He's staring at the ground.
She's just looking at the
Oh yeah, look at you and I'm like, okay, what's going on?
No.
Okay, it's my own shit. Okay, almost there. Sorry about that. You guys are so patient. Becca's idea of characters exaggerated, like as example, task-oriented Stormer to fit concept. Also idea to fill time, this is Nathan again, moving from one disaster to the next. Like one thing could be the rope. Here Becca says redo to facilitate the process idea. Nathan also likes idea of setting up skit as part of skit. Allison again laughing expresses comfortable nature of this. And audience confusion is funny. Everybody's laughing again. Lear says he likes multiple idea skits with one metaphorical rope. I think he might have meant literal rope as well, I'm not sure. Yes to multiple, Lear says, but limited to avoid redundance. Suggests 3 or 4 switches max so as not to confuse audience too much or lose impact. Allison says, could start out, can't figure out how to get thing working, but then we could say, redo. Then on desert island, beach, I guess. Thank you. Or something. I don't know. Is this kind of? I'm totally recording you. I don't know. Is this kind of like what you're? And then time in video, I stopped because I had to pee. And then Allison directs question to Nathan. Is that what you were saying? Like somehow we could transition between ? And then I have to leave it. I'm swearing because I'm going to the class. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that in any way useful?
Yeah, it's so we can continue the
Remind-
conversation
yeah.
from last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the part that she came in and said about like the structure and the different stages is something that I wasn't considering before, and that maybe the scene switches could almost be those
Like the
different
forming,
sections.
norming stuff.
Yeah, because like you had
Yeah.
said the other day, or I guess in that meeting, Becca, like how important it was to make sure that the audience was following.
Right.
And I think that would be like our idea, but a useful way for that to make sense. Like, because otherwise, why are we switching scenes? Right. So maybe.
So each, okay.
Could kind of show our forming process.
I wonder, like, part of our forming and some of our storming issues and stuff like that has been because there's so much difference in this group. I mean, I'm saying that over and over again, but comparatively to some of the other groups, that has made it more perhaps difficult to find middle grounds and knowing what middle grounds we want to find and not knowing each other and coming from different perspectives oftentimes. And I wonder if we can bring that out in the group or in the skit somehow, because that seems quite different from some of the other groups.
One thing you said this morning, what was that joke you made? But I was like, no, seriously.
Oh, I was just thinking something because I just thought one of us should grab. We can use this or not, but because we're seeing Shanti today, I thought we should grab.
Right. Yes.
Like I could just video Shanti saying that thing she said yesterday about.
You don't have to.
You don't have to do maintenance unless there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And then when
comes up, otherwise we need to focus on.
right, or otherwise you focus on the task or whatever.
Yeah.
Like so, I felt like I want to get just a video of her against a wall just saying that, and then send it to Nathan, and he can like video edit it or a little
And
bit, make it kind of like
ghostly or
ghost
like kind
or
of
like angelic or
guardian,
something.
like a guardian
And-
angel,
a guardian
and just kind of
angel.
like you don't have to do maintenance unless it comes up, otherwise, folks. And then we're all like,
Yeah, like it'll be on the thing behind us, and we'll be like,
that would be like our moment.
yeah,
Anyway,
because
so
that was a really big
she
moment for us.
said that as a joke, and I think it's like a really good idea.
And what she said, to be clear, is unless there's a need, then you deal with it.
Yes, totally.
Exactly.
Totally. So when the need comes up, you deal with it.
Yes.
If there's no need, you focus on the task.
Yeah.
Was her? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like.
But I love the idea.
Yeah.
So, oh wow, I thought someone came in and started rapping on the table.
Sorry, writing down.
So
Okay.
I think if you could write that down,
Yeah.
we're just like
Yeah. So we're gonna have that in.
Okay, so I will get a video of her saying it today,
Yeah.
and then we can use it or not use
Does
it.
it have to be hers?
Are you able to do that?
I was gonna say I haven't had a video editing program
Oh,
for a long time.
Okay.
I can probably do it.
Okay. I also have like iMovie.
Yeah.
If you have iMovie.
Yeah.
I have iMovie,
Okay.
but I've like actually played around with it, so I might be able
Sure.
to.
Okay.
We
Sounds
should
good.
get her all nice and pissed off when she says it too. Like in the back. No.
There's just gonna be like a.
I kind of thought it would be like a kind of just this
Like a
this
custom
voice from
moment.
above, like Mufasa.
Yeah. You just want the sound.
No, like she could be back there, but maybe kind of like cloudy
Yeah,
or something, you know.
Or like a mystic kind of like
mysticky, yeah.
Oh, that's a slide.
Okay, so
Yes.
there's that, but also what I just thought about now was what if we had like Lear and Mariah, and then Raina and Kate, and we had one scene where it was like, okay, guys, we gotta, say we're on a desert island, so we gotta do the
Yeah.
fire, we gotta get this going, and then you guys are like, wait, no, and then you pull the scene over, so it's like we gotta talk about how we're relating to each other about this, and then the guys are like, no, and then they pull it back to the other side, and then we start.
Oh, that's a cool
So
idea.
kind of like that, because we have a
with
very
the rope, is that what
the
you're
tug of war,
Okay.
or like
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. I want to. Can you demonstrate while you're talking? Is that possible?
Sure.
Sorry, I was probably
so-
Okay.
I don't know exactly how it would work, but I'm just thinking like, so we have, so because I think there's a huge, one of the unique aspects of our group is that we have very one-sided task-oriented, and then we have very one-sided relationally oriented. If we were to play on that and be like, this is a really big part of our group that is not a part of any of your groups, this is how, so we show this by, say, like we get landed on a desert island, and then Lear and Mariah, I don't know, pull the rope or something.
Why don't we
Can we just try?
just to add
try
on
that
that?
as
Why
I
don't
can?
we like?
They're not saying
I mean,
beside each other.
Obviously we each are at somewhat extreme, or in I guess the group's opinion, where like more there's like two ends, right? So
Yeah.
like me and Mariah would be portrayed as one side, and Raina and Kate
Yeah.
would be the other side.
Yeah.
And then you three, depending, because you three are
Maybe you're in the
a little
middle.
bit
Yeah, and you guys are like,
we need
Allison, Nathan, and
Yeah.
Becca are in the middle,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like, like the center of the.
Yeah. And then I think maybe at the end we kind of have to draw everyone together so that we have both, like, what was the,
Or we can just make
there was
a-
that line in the textbook that was,
Equilibrium,
Yes,
the one you brought
equilibrium.
up.
So what we should
yeah.
do.
So
What
actually,
we can do
actually
to
do this
represent that is
right
to,
now?
listen, what we can do to represent that is like, so it's one line, right, like this. But then when we form that equilibrium, we just make a circle.
yes! Woo! Drop the mic! Drop the mic!
Oh, come on!
Can we actually just do this right now, this scene? Can we just do it together? Because you've just said it, and I'm so visual. If we just do it, I'll understand better. And I really like to just fucking do it.
Can we just talk about it just a little bit more?
Sure.
Yeah,
Iron
okay.
it out a bit more.
I think
Yeah,
let's do it today for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
The part that I was recording on last time was like I wrote out the entire transcript because I thought we could
Yay.
do the exaggerated thing because it was very much our roles and everyone was involved.
Yeah.
So
I like-
sorry, you could use that as
Yeah, I like Lear's idea of the circle because I think that's very telling of a group because we had that circle in the beginning.
I just want to stay with Mariah for one more minute because I didn't catch what she's saying. Okay. So you wrote out the transcript, and what do you mean about characters? I didn't see the transcript.
So like it was like my reporting part, and so I wrote out kind of similar to you did, but more like exactly what were like key points of what everyone said.
Awesome.
And it was like pretty much the entire group was engaged in the storm, and it was like you were fighting for relational, I was fighting for task, and it was just like a really good like one that we could
Well, there's-
emphasize
there's a
our.
bird in it.
Well, they come in here and eat.
Really?
They'll
Yeah.
go up.
Yeah,
That's-
you know.
I think what we actually just did over
Sorry,
there
okay, you all-
is very is actually a really good idea of that is like having us all getting tangled up in
Yes.
and then we have to pull it apart and then turn it into a circle.
Yes.
I just thought
Okay,
it was like
and
a
that
really
could,
nice
yes,
story.
and that could come in. I think that turning into a circle should probably be like the final
The-
scene of the skit.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I think
and that should, and I think that could come when we're all tangled and we're all pulling back and forth, and then the Shanti video comes up, and then we're like, oh, and then we all kind of like gather into a circle.
Yeah.
And, like-
the rope should be a metaphor for our group process.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
It is.
totally.
Totally.
It is,
So at
totally.
first it's a straight line because we're on opposite
Opposite
ends.
ends.
Yes,
And then
yes.
by the end of
yes.
it, you want to
Yes.
like you
Yes.
want to.
Yes.
And so like
Yes.
throughout the skit, I think what we should do is we should in the beginning of the skit be like this, but then as the skit goes, we become more
We'll
like we start
Ah.
moving towards each other like this. So different scenes come, we form, we norm, whatever. And by the end, when we're finished our group process, it'd be like, okay, we finally understand the skit. Boom.
We're gonna.
But
okay,
also,
so
I think, can I see that? I think the storming would be like, I'm tied up here, and then someone else is tied up there. So we're ultimately
Crisscross.
towards it,
Yeah.
but we're
Yeah.
also
and
stuck.
pulling different
And I think
directions.
if we're very stuck in our mindset, maybe someone goes to the end and ties themselves to the. So say it's like the
Or-
task oriented.
Yeah,
like,
you did.
No,
You
like,
hyped yourself up.
I need to do this, and then they stay on that side. And they're like, I'm not moving. Like this is what we need to do,
Yes,
and then
very
you're
rigid.
pulling back and forth,
Yes.
and then
Oh, I'll do that because I've done it.
and then
Taking that
but
on
then
here.
we go, no, we gotta be like pretty,
Yeah.
like we gotta be flexible and
Yeah.
equilibrium, and then
Yes.
we all come together.
Or someone tries also in those moments to chew themselves out of the rope.
or no, we can have a pair of, because if we use yarn, I have a ton of yarn. So that might be an easier thing to do, because that way if we get all tangled up, then when we change the scene, we can cut ourselves out and start again, like in a,
I don't understand this tangled part. Can you just explain it?
What we did over there,
Are
was
we, sorry, to
No.
clarify, are we using different material besides the rope to tangle ourselves?
no
Are we using the rope?
either the rope or
or
yarn.
that's a good point, that we could just use yarn to tangle ourselves.
So if there's
And then get rid of the yarn, and that way we can, I don't know.
I'm a little worried about that just because it might be confusing with
Like,
what
what's
to
the
yeah,
yarn?
to, what
Yeah,
does it
there'll be like,
symbolize?
what is
So
the
if we
yarn?
just have one where
Yeah.
it's like this is our group, our connections between
Yeah.
the group
Yeah,
or something. Just
yeah.
if there's too
It's
many
like,
things.
like that's what I'm
on.
saying. So
Yeah.
like if like let's say there's storming between one end of the group and then the other end of the group, like one person who's at the end and the beginning, how are we gonna represent
Just
that?
cross,
Because if we
like-
make a circle like
No,
this,
it's not gonna be
Yeah.
like it's tangling, crossing, crisscrossing, the way we were all kind of stuck, the way she was like wrapped
Or
up,
just get it
just like,
so
you know, it's like wrapped
say
around
you
your
want
neck,
this,
it's like,
hold the other end.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're making
still
circles,
yeah.
but it's like you say it's Kate. She's like, no, we gotta stay on this side, and then she like tangles herself there, and then you're like, no, like this is the way, and so you kind of pull back and like tangle.
then-
So we're all just
And then
tangled up in the
somebody,
rope.
and then somebody's
It's
like,
not a circle.
well, I've kind of changed my mind, I'm coming over here.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's like,
oh like
you know what I
knots.
mean? Yeah, like creating
And then in the
knots,
end,
kind
it kind of like goes into a circle. Like
Okay. So the knots like represent conflict.
I
Okay.
So,
Get
so
it
we
together.
can say knots represent either conflict, dilemma,
Storming,
or
getting stuck.
Yeah, getting stuck. I mean, it, like
I
it's a
think,
good
but I also
representation.
think at the same time, if we are going to put that, like, if we're going to do theory within a like PowerPoint thing, we can all speak to like the different parts of theory in the PowerPoint, so we don't have to worry about that. Like at the time, like we can act out like our where our position was, but I think like our theory we should put into the
In those side videos.
in the side videos, and that'll allow us to put like the storming, so we can have like a storm.
Right. Are you saying like, in those side videos? Are you wanting us to like name it? That's where I'm
Yeah,
confused.
like the
Like
theory.
the word.
Oh,
Do you want the word in there?
Speak to the theory.
I don't know what the logistics like how it would actually look, but I'm just
But
saying
at
like I
least
think
saying
the
it
theory
or-
needs to be in the video, and we need to worry about like at the time just doing the rope and like I think what I'm saying is like I think it's gonna be overwhelming to the audience and stuff if we're trying to do it all while we're entangled in this
Uh-huh.
rope. Like
Yeah.
just having a clicker and being able to like
Like
show
freeze.
and show what's happening with the clarification.
Yeah, I mean, what we can do is we can have some sort of freeze mechanism where one person just like I think this was brought up in the last discussion.
Yells
where
freeze.
When someone yells freeze, they go
Yeah.
freeze, and then everyone else who's holding the rope just stops, like pretends they actually are frozen,
Yeah.
and then that person goes, says something, changes the skit. It'll be like storming, talks about storming, and be
Or
like,
it
"This
goes
is
up on the video is what
yeah,
she's
or video,
suggesting.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like it goes
Okay,
up
sure.
on the PowerPoint, it says storming, and then they say like what they have to say about storming, so we kind of represent it, and then that happens right after this, that segment. So then like unfreeze, and then storming will happen. You know what I mean?
So I guess to like get an outline
Yes,
and have
yeah.
a goal done, we need to start like deciding what we
Well, so okay, now
We
now
want
is
the
it the
rope, right?
time to like decide what are we in that? So if this is kind of a fun, so we need to decide like what are we going to be arguing about?
Right.
Where is
Where
the
are we?
scene? Where is the scene taking place?
Yeah.
In order for us to have something to argue about, what's
Oh,
the
okay.
task versus
Yes.
what's the
Okay.
relationship?
I think originally I had said, oh, we should have like it should be like kind of like a mockumentary with The Office,
Right.
but I think the way that it's turning into now, I'm gonna retract that and say instead we still use the screens, but it's less about. person's being like this, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, and more like, okay, I feel like we're really storming there, and like just being a
Yeah.
lot more,
Yeah.
like just saying it as
Yeah.
opposed to acting it.
Yes.
And so I think, yeah, so I'm, not that I'm suggesting that we take that off the table, just because I think it would be easier for the
I
process.
think
And
I think you're
that's
right.
where you are, and
Yeah.
I've also seen that whole picture, I think that's great. Can I push my little agenda as well, and you can reject it, that's fine by me. Is again, this storming demonstration, I personally don't feel a need for the word, but that's okay if everybody else does. I think the representation is good, again, the umbrella is a storming demonstration, and we can include that in the rope and whatever's on the slide, it could just say storming, whatever you guys decide. But we could be like, as an example, is that okay for everyone? Yeah. Communicate or try to communicate. So say Darren and I are storming, everybody's attached, and Darren and I are like, yeah, whatever. We're like pulling off in different directions. So we're having between us a dyad storm. So the umbrella, someone would hold it over top of us. Maybe Nathan, because Nathan tends to hold the space so well. So that would be a demonstration of holding this. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Holding the space for the storming. I'm just trying to demonstrate something very visual. But for the slides, whatever the hell you want. I mean, I don't know.
I just think the reason for the slides is that
I'm not saying no to them. but-
we actually have to
Label it.
we have to label it because the idea is that we're showing it to people who don't know anything about Greek process.
If you,
So we need to use the word.
that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So like the umbrella would be confusing the audience who doesn't really understand what the umbrella represents.
But we need to make that connection for them, right? I mean, both, I think, are legitimate and important.
I think we could use both. I think
Yes.
when the storming comes up,
The rope is small.
that the video could have a person with the
I
umbrella.
understand what you guys
Right.
mean, but it's just like there's a lot of concepts, right? So there's storming is one, but if there was like 7, and we're like we have to hold these props constantly.
We don't. We can make it very simple, but you can say no to the umbrella if that's bothering you.
No, it's not. It's not that it's bothering me. It's just hard to.
So for now, it's just the umbrella. If we start adding a ton more props, I totally hear you. So
You know what I
let's
mean? It's like
yeah, but we
there's-
haven't yet. So
Like we'll have to constantly like go up the rope during the skit to go pick up one of the props.
but we only have one prop right now.
No, I know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, but for each concept, right? Because there's
We're not necessarily going to have one. Just
Certainly not gonna have one.
yeah.
That might
so
just
don't
be
worry about
fleshed
it.
out
Just, yeah,
once we
yeah.
actually actively do it.
Yeah.
You know, but
And
this is important not to be too rigid about what we're going to do because
Right.
we have to
It's
be.
brainstorming. It's not
We
saying
have
which
to
is-
be. Yeah.
No, I'm not
Willing
not
to
saying
give up.
What
Yeah.
we're not gonna do. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
I'm just being critical because
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
if when it comes down to it and then we say oh, there's way too many props,
Yeah.
then we have to kind of change our idea.
That's what I mean. Like be open-handed. Like we have to give something up or take something
Like
off.
I really like
at
the
the
idea
time.
of adding a prop that represents something.
I think
I just think it might be overwhelming if there's too many and then like the
I think
audience has to
Yes, could be,
understand
yeah. Yeah.
I
like
think
what
it's
each one
possible
is.
that the difference is you're a very visual person and perhaps you're more practical. And that's why we're having this like we can't have too many props, but you think we need more props and so it's like
yeah, but it's open to everything.
Yeah,
I
no.
I need 5 minutes.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
what I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, maybe just 2. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys carry on. I don't care what you do or decide
Okay.
to talk about,
Okay.
unless I'm totally against it, which whatever.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Do
Let's
you guys
see.
want to first as far as setting, do you guys want to look at the rope in one room in the same way that you watch that movie 12 Angry Men, where it's they're in a limited setting, right? Like they don't move around. It's just about the dialogue.
Mhm.
So I mean, we were talking about using outdoor activities or using some sort of imaginatory setting, but like, are we just going to keep it in one room, or how is that going to work?
I don't know, I think we talked about switching scenes
Mm-hmm.
and we also talked about having it be different tasks, like being on the beach, being on, building or whatever. But now this back and forth between task oriented and maybe it's easier if we just have one task.
Yeah, I'm
I
hearing you
agree.
there.
That's what I mean by the 12 Angry Men. Like they have one task,
Yes.
they're in one spot,
Yes.
and the whole
And it's
movie is
processing.
about
Yeah.
them processing to come to a consensus.
Yeah.
But Nathan, what were you going to say?
Oh, yeah, in terms of that, one thing would be fine. But, sorry, I just wanted to say something about the props before, like whether or not having a few or.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna change the whole thing and make it perfect. Go on.
I'm trying to
No pressure.
I was gonna say, like, since I'm not I wouldn't be portrayed as being on one side or the other.
Yeah.
I'd be somewhere in the middle. We don't need for everyone to drop like the rope to keep making the props. Like I like being a prop guy too, so I could be going back and forth with the props.
It could also be you, me, and Allison are very kind of back and forth, so it could be that we're kind of like supporting each side and kind of like, and just kind of being that support system.
Because
So
I
you guys
also
are the facilitators.
I like that.
Of the
I like
because I
that.
think
Maybe.
because I know props get difficult, but actually I think the more props we use, the more it'll look like we put a lot of effort into it, and people will like appreciate that. Other than just standing up there.
DQ! I know, but he needs to get out of here.
Oh.
Oh, the guy.
He will, he honestly will, like
Yeah, he's been in here and out before.
Oh, he's been in and out already? Okay.
I've had a class in here.
Okay.
Kind of bird.
What's it called? Claire Hugh, but you say Claire
That's
Hugh.
cool, Nathan.
Yeah.
I really like
But I
that.
think we can add like a lot of cool things. Like,
Yeah.
like the swimming umbrella is fine, but I also want to throw like food confetti at you guys.
One, can we,
Okay.
perhaps we can
Like,
write
that's all I wanna
down
do.
all the unique things about our group and what things we want to make sure are in there. So I think
Task versus maintenance.
task versus maintenance
Okay,
and
those are some big themes.
technological.
And technological focus.
Yeah, can I change that a little bit? Could we go through each one, so like forming, storming,
Yeah.
norming, and see what's important in our group under those categories, because that's how it's going to
How we're gonna have to.
And how it can be depicted with
Yeah,
the
I mean, we
props
have
and
general
music.
ones, obviously, that
But how it's gonna go
Should I
through these
ask? Yeah.
stages.
No.
Guys, but
Yeah.
just I was just gonna say like, what time do we go back?
12.
12? Okay, so we got 15 minutes.
Yep. Okay, forming.
But if we have an outline when we meet later,
Yeah.
Yeah,
then
totally.
we can actually.
Okay.
Yeah, better.
Right?
So
Yes, yeah.
forming.
Yeah.
Trouble picking times. Our schedules were conflicting.
Well, we already
We
have
were-
it.
So
Yeah,
to-
totally.
to put
The Facebook issue.
so just
The leadership issue. Oh, that was morning.
So in the forming stage, what I think should happen is the rope should be on like the ground or something, and then we all come into the classroom one at a time, as how we did to form the group.
Yeah.
So
Come together.
Allison and Kate were already there. So for instance, we would be outside the room. Kate and Allison would be beside the rope, but you guys would be like, "Oh, what's the rope?" And then you guys would grab it. So now there's only
I
two
like
people
this
in the
rope.
room.
I'll be part of this
Yeah.
rope.
So now there's two people
Yeah.
that are grabbing it, and then I was next, and then Nathan. Right? So then I come in the room, I come in, and then I suggest something like kind of how the actual sequence of us forming together went.
Okay.
Nathan came after, we introduced another concept, then Mariah came, then Becca, and then Raina, right? And
Right.
then as we're all coming together with a rope, we're making dialogues with each other one at a time until we finally form or we have some sort of conflict with the knots.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
slowly coming in to show the forming.
Nathan has a point.
Oh no, it's just a question. So yeah, we're gonna go through forming over all these things and kind of show where our group was, but are we going to show it metaphorically through like another sort of scene? Like we're not just gonna show exactly what we did.
Yes, so we're gonna have to. I see what you're saying. We're gonna have to choose a theme. Like we're not coming in to join a group. We're coming in
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
go camping or
I guess
go-
that's important.
I know
we
really
do
need
So like,
like
even though we were
We need a
like
task.
Yeah, we need a
storming
task.
about Facebook, we would have to like change Facebook to something else.
Right.
yeah.
It's like
Like
Yeah.
something that we would use or not use.
We could just say like, let's like, how are we gonna communicate? And it's
Right.
like we can pretend like our phones are Facebook or something like that.
I think
Like, because our phones represent technology, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
like
it
if our
should be more
if our theme is like the beach, I mean like we're not like Facebook will come into that.
right.
Something
Yes.
that stands for Facebook.
Yeah, so somebody could be like, I think we should use these like giant signals or something. Like
and then
they
Ray
could
comes
be
in,
like,
it's like when we're using like the
yeah,
signals.
what do you mean? What is this signal? I want to use a signal. Yeah.
Could we be in like a construction
Site.
construction site?
Because say more about that.
You just think like that we're building that.
Sometimes it just comes out and I don't know.
Sorry, are you?
I don't know
Are you asking if we should record?
I'm trying to
everything?
pick. I want to pick something that like
Yeah, well, in
we can
construction
kind of
site.
dress up for. We can kind of like make very clear where we are. That's different from a beach, a desert, like a stranded island, a plane crash, and something like that. Like something like different.
Okay.
So like building something.
It has to
Like a
be,
construction.
So we wouldn't
site.
actually be on a construction site, but like pretending to be on a
but it has to
That's
be.
what I'm asking.
Is what you
Mariah.
meant. It has
Do
to
you
be
mean that, or
something-
do you mean we actually go to a construction site and film it there?
No. Like we are at a construction. Like we're just embodying. We're supposed to be working together to put the roof. There's just a roof, or
There's
we're
gotta be
supposed
something-
to like very specific. It's got to be something also that relational stuff comes into, because we can't just be like, oh, we're on a construction site. And
Yeah.
why
Okay,
would we
building-
talk about our
building
feelings?
kitchen.
Yeah.
You can't paint, you need the cabinets in after you paint. You need, like there's different, I don't know. It was just an example. We need something that is like,
I know what you mean by that, but just to clarify how our group process went, we didn't always have an objectified goal in the beginning.
we did though, because we knew from the start we were forming the goals to make a skit. Right?
So making a skit in the end would be like completing the roof or whatever.
Yeah. Right? Like, because we all knew going
But
into
then pulling back and forth, you guys are like, we gotta get the roof on, and they're like, well, I think we should, talk to the owners first. What is it that they really want? And what do they really care about? Like, I don't know if
what
we're,
color do they want?
yeah, are we sure
Do they have kids?
yes, or something like that. Like, that's just a total, but I think,
Sure.
Yeah.
so we could do something like that.
Yeah, the lights should be.
So what's our theme? Looks like we should come
So
to
we need to pick a
consensus.
theme. So there was a suggestion of like construction, we're building something, we're
Beach was
I
mentioned.
think we had the beach,
Beach.
stranded island, need a shelter. That one's
Oh, building a shelter.
that one's the beach. Like
yeah, the
what we
beach,
talked about
whatever
last
it is, yeah.
time.
Yeah, is there something that could, like utilize the emotion, like if we need to focus somewhat on relationships as well as just building something? It's a task, and that's a difficult.
I took building literally.
So did I. Can I just interject?
Yes.
Holding that together. So the literal building, as a possibility, whatever we have our rope in there, which demonstrates the emotional pretty strongly, and we get a bunch of empty boxes and kick them around. We can put them together. We can take them apart. We can fight over them. We can throw them. We can finish with a lemon box shelter house. As an idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not attached to anything, so it's just
Box
a
drops.
possibility.
So the rope seems to be pretty prominent in our skit. Like that's something we will have.
I think that's the metaphor.
Yeah,
It's like a
it's
metaphor
strongest.
of like how we're coming
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So
Well, what we
yeah.
put on the list of like need to have is
Yes.
technological, like, because that was
That's
part of our
group, yeah.
and then the task versus relational.
Okay, and is there, yeah, and then
And then add the rope, because that's something that's like really metaphoric of how, like, if we want to come in,
equilibrium.
as a circle in the end versus like, yes.
Maybe we're actually building or creating a new social networking platform because there's technical
Oh,
pieces
yes.
to it
Yes.
and there's relational.
I used to like
Lemon
this.
boxes.
We
You
could
know?
be like making,
Grizzle.
and we'll just
Oh.
come up with like a
Call it
random,
something else.
but like
Yeah.
so that everybody knows that it's Facebook, but
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
me,
yeah.
but we'll be
Oh
like,
my gosh, so we're like in a think tank
Um,
of like good, like a
yeah, we're in like
Ad book
Facebook
or
think
something, I don't
tank.
know.
Yes!
So you guys will really have to help us.
Can I show what
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right, so we got boxes in the end. If we're doing the boxes, we don't have to do boxes.
No, I think we were just moving from the boxes.
From the boxes to the Facebook.
Okay.
We don't have to use the boxes, but what if we throw in, I'm a visual person, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if we throw in a couple of computers with Facebook on them as an actual literal prop? So if we're building, we have a few computers with Facebook to demonstrate that challenge in a literal way. As an option, don't care.
But
So just wait. So what would the boxes be if we're because the idea that was just suggestion was that we're working for some technology company and we're building
yes,
like an online social networking
it
platform.
is not
I
Facebook.
think this might be a little bit complicated in terms of like actually representing the different types of technology that we're going to use. So like building a Facebook page, how would we represent that metaphorically with
Yes,
some sort
good
of layout?
question.
Okay, but can I?
Go.
Okay, I think so. Say we were in, say our skit was here, so we're sitting here and we're like, okay, guys, like this technical company wants us to build a social network. What do you guys think about that? And then some people say, well, like we need to get the funding for it. We need to get like what's the how are we going to get people, like the advertising, and so people are very on the practical, how do we get it? And then other people are like, but what color should we make it? Because like and like what kind of people will be using this, like and like
Kind of like human computer interaction, like efficiency, like where's
Again, it seems so
I know,
complicated.
and-
Like it's so much easier to just build a house, for instance, because this would be like you would need one. Like none of us are. I don't know unless one of you guys is like an expert in building some sort of.
No, but we would
actually
but
make-
none of them in the classroom are either. So
Yeah.
we could literally use like nonsense language that would be funny, like.
the
be like,
Canoodle
we
ladder.
need, we need like we're gonna need a computer that can run at like
Bazillion
light
speed,
speed
Like
or
you're
something. Like
talking
we
to a
can just,
layperson who has no idea.
Yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
We're not actually building the platform. We're just talking about building.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying though. It might be easier to pick something that we all have.
in common. We
References,
understand.
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
It's
the
like-
only thing that I would like.
Okay.
Is like there's obviously technological differences within the groups.
Yes.
Raina's got her hand up.
Like building another website is like very complex.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's like building a house is not that complex.
Jump, Raina.
Yes, so just an idea to unite all of that, again, the boxes don't have to use them, it's just a visual. Empty boxes, building a house, the windows could be made of computers with the Facebook page open up on it to demonstrate that. That's making it like,
I don't
you
understand.
don't understand what I'm saying, yeah.
I think I do understand, but I think we actually, it's not just that we need, like looking at like technology as like a building block of our house or whatever, but like actually being like having the projections behind us because not many people are going to use that in their
Oh, so
presentations.
you're talking about the projections,
Yes.
specifically,
Yeah.
the slides and
Yes.
how to represent
That's
the
the
thing,
technology.
how to
yes.
represent the technological aspects, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much like
Okay.
that we need to build with it or like use it as windows or
Okay.
whatever.
I'm just more trying to figure out a literal skit
Yeah.
action.
Okay,
And
so
the slides are
maybe-
important
yeah.
to that, so I'm sorry, I'm not focusing on it.
So yeah, I'm hearing all this, but I also want to throw in like another idea. Just so
Yeah.
So I thought since the rope is such an integral part, and that's kind of just being added to show the emotional part, I was thinking of a way to actually make it like part of the skit. So I remember someone saying before, like when we were talking about spiders and stuff, it's like a straight line web doesn't like catch anything, but as we go along, like making it a circle is better than the communication networks. We connect us together, and then it would be like the best web possible.
Yeah.
So that would incorporate.
So are we
that.
spiders?
Yeah. And at the end, so we'd have like
Whoa.
a circle.
That was so full circle.
And then like storming would kind of break it apart, and then
So
like,
our
we just
object-
have flies that we could like props that just fall through the web. And go, well, like
So-
we didn't get that.
And
Like,
perhaps the relation, like there could be the task of making the web, and then the relational of like, well, what design should we use? Like what do you guys think? Like, what material? Like, should we make this out of like really thick stuff or like?
Well,
things
no,
like
that's
that?
not quite
Is that
relational. No,
No, that's
'cause
negotiated.
that's like details of the task.
Yeah.
I think relational would have to be more like,
How about when you come to
let's all make sure that we've come to a conclusion
Yeah.
about the kind of web we want to make, and like, let's make sure we
Do you want
are we
that
all on the
corner,
same-
or are you comfortable?
Yeah,
and
and,
like-
and how is it gonna?
And
Yeah, and how is it gonna facilitate us living as a group on this web? And like,
How about
you know,
how about the concept?
no, they don't.
How about the concept like, we were throwing the yarn at each other,
Yes.
and then it kind of got like it became like connected, right?
Yes.
So whenever we would come to some sort of, every time we come to like some sort of agreements or our relation is stronger, we would throw the yarn at each other. Be like, oh, that's great. Okay, throw the
Or
yarn.
the yard
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
around the circle.
Yeah, me and Raina, right? I would throw it at Raina, and then she would throw it, and then she would keep it.
If,
And now our connection is stronger, right? So we have that one connection of the web. So then she goes to the next person, connects with the next person, she throws it, and by the end we actually have a spider web.
yes, I love it.
Okay, can we write this down?
Yes,
This is
okay,
really
spider
good
web.
stuff.
And we have
Spider
the
web.
photograph as well.
Okay, spider web.
Yeah.
And the fighting of it at times.
So like
with-
storming, creating
I reject your web
connections.
throwing at times,
But the
but
thing,
ending with accepting.
but this is one thing that we have to make clear before we do this.
Sorry.
If we do this with this concept of being spiders, this
We're all
rope
spiders.
this rope that we are initially picking up has to be in a circle because there's no way you can
In
have. So we can add this concept of making a web after the rope has already been connected. Because if it's straight, there's no way we can.
Yeah.
There's no way we can make a web with a straight rope, right? Because we're all going to be in
But
a.
that could be part of the forming, is forming the circle versus, like, we could have it sooner versus that being
Yes, okay, forming the
performing,
circle.
it
I
could
see
be
what you're saying,
forming,
but, and yes.
right?
Yes to you and yes to you, it both works.
No. What I'm saying is like I
I
don't
know
think
what
it'll
you're
work. Like okay, like if you visually, if everyone.
No, we understand, Leah, I think we understand that part.
Promise
Just
me.
the thing that we're saying is that if the first stage is forming, we could form into the circle.
Okay, that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
So instead of
Yes.
instead of having that, because earlier we were talking about forming into a straight line, which eventually will form into a circle. So now we're
And
going to
maybe
just
that
be a
will
circle.
only happen halfway through the skit, and then the rest of the skit will be building the web.
Yes.
Because actually, that's really what happened with our group. Like our forming, storming, norming was a lot of dun, 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 dun. We're not getting anything done. We're not getting anything done for a long time, right?
Yes.
So I think that actually would speak to it. And then when we eventually do form a circle, then the rest of the skit, we can be doing those connections that you were talking about.
I like how I see it as
Yes.
the rope. Like forming the circle is the end goal. So like once this goes from a straight line to a circle, the skit should be complete because our group.
But yesterday we had that moment of aha, and I feel like we're more of a circle now, but our process isn't done.
Oh, but what
form
Leah
and
wants is at the
unform.
very end to come into a circle.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I
what I
see.
thought that we were going towards.
It was, but we didn't have a spider web idea.
So
I think
So
that's
you're right, it
That's what
does
I'm-
change
That's
it.
what I'm saying. So we're
It
changing.
totally
it.
changes.
To make it
Follow the
flow.
one.
She'll come to us.
So instead of it being a circle, now it's gonna be performing is gonna like be the full web.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
I also have like kind of an idea if this would, I don't know if this would work physically, but if we're all in a straight line like this, and then we're coming together before we we go back to that idea that we're in a straight line and we're coming towards being a circle. If we get that blue yarn, or whatever, and we're in a straight line, and we want to talk with each other, we throw it at each other.
Yeah.
So now we keep throwing at each other, and it'll obviously the yarn will
Yeah.
knit.
Heard that.
So at the end, as the circle's coming, we have those connections.
Yes.
So when we come together, then the yarn is just going to straighten out and make the web.
Oh, it'd be really cool if we could figure out some kind
But
of.
I don't know if that'll work.
That would
I
be
think
cool
it
if
will.
it would.
I really,
We have
If
to-
we
that
could,
whole
we have,
idea.
you're right, we
We
have
have
to
to
figure out the
coordinate.
pattern
Yeah, we have to
and the
coordinate.
coordination so that when we pull apart, we'd have like a.
Yeah, because we don't want to throw it and then we turn and the connections are on the outside.
Wait,
We want them in the inside.
Yeah.
I think this works. Like it works perfectly magically. There was one thing I think we have to let go of though is having a perfect web. Like
Oh yeah, sure.
the web can be a mess in the end. Like I appreciate your concept of throwing it at each other, and when that connection is formed, we catch it, and that's another link to the web. And in the process of moving from, as you say, potentially a straight line as we begin to form, and the tug of war as we begin to form, right? And needing to end in a circle to accommodate everything. So there can be the potential to demonstrate the storming as well when we throw it to a person and they reject it, because that's how it
Yeah, that's
like,
cool. He
so
throws it
I
back.
throw it at you and you're like,
And then I throw it back at you and I'm like,
that's
no,
a
I don't
huge
want it.
demonstration of our process
Yeah.
right there, and in the end will land us to the place we're all starting to envision with the web. And
Just some random things that you can write down as things that could happen during. So it doesn't need to be there at the start. We could add some humor in it. Like a ribbon would probably be really easy if it's all rolled up. Like you could have it like behind Becca, and that's kind of just like pulls it out. The spider and just kind of lays it out. Like it doesn't have to be there, so we can actually make something more spider-like, making the web. And I like the throwing connections idea. And for storming, like sometimes I'm pretty sure there was one point where we kind of just started again. Like the storm could wash away the web, and then we could try again.
Oh.
yes,
I think there's a lot of
cutting
factors
edge
that
to
we're
drop
trying
it.
to. There's a lot of factors that we're trying to add in, keep all in here, and we're kind of getting a little complicated. Not like it is like the group process is complicated, but I think we need a little bit of a way to make it more simple, because I think we're getting lost between the web and the circle and doing the relational versus task, and so we definitely need a storyline that kind of like runs through all this, and I don't think it needs to be a perfect web in the end, but I do think it needs to look a little bit like a web, so that
So it's
not,
obvious.
so it's not like
Do you guys want to actually put some props on, like some costume or
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think we
Well,
can all
Irish
wear,
eyes.
we can all wear
8
black
eyes, 8
and
eyes.
like
and spider webs on our faces.
No, but you get like
Yeah.
what's that wires pipe
Pipe cleaner?
cleaners? We can just get
Oh
big
yeah,
pipe
we can like
cleaners,
pipe
black
cleaners.
ones.
Yes.
We
Just
have,
and they could just
Big
be
ones,
little
like-
ones.
It's like, damn it.
we just have like big pipe cleaners like taped to our backs.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like, and then we all wear black, and then it'll just be like
Be
you
fun.
look like spiders.
But where do spiders live if we need a theme? Do they live between two trees? Like where? I'm sorry, I was trying to get the theme that you're asking for.
Like a
involved.
story.
I know we had a desert, a fucking beach on it. Sorry. A beach. But if we're going to focus on that sort of micro spider element and the macro as the web, what do webs connect to
I think we should just.
for a storyline? Can you hear what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I understand. I think the rope should signify that. Like,
Yes, I'm just saying we need a theme, right? So that's what I'm trying to get to. Is a theme. The rope does signify it.
yeah.
I'm just not sure you heard me. That's
No, I understand. Like you're saying like what the setting should.
Just the wind.
You're saying more like what the setting should.
Should we
be,
go
between
back?
two
I think
trees
we
or
probably have to
between,
go back.
like a
She said she'd come
canvas.
again.
Oh, did she say that? No, she said to meet her back there at 12.
Oh, I misheard then.
No,
Wow, I'm like
Are,
ready to
are
show
we
my
are we gonna be able to take all of this that we have here now and then bring it to our next meeting and
Yes.
start to?
I think
Is
it's
this clear? Okay. I
Will you
hope so.
jump in with the spider situation?
Okay,
See how
I'm
that
gonna
goes?
pause.
As long as
Yes.
we don't lose this.